The meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Honorable City Council members, to our Chief of Staff, City Attorney, Deputy Clerk, to administrative staff that's with us, and for those in the audience and those who are viewing tonight's meeting via our broadcast channel and YouTube Live. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, May 22nd, 2023. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please pull out a request to speak public comment card located on the table in the back of the chambers and hand it to the deputy clerk. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo. Here. Councilman Barton.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilwoman Webb is excused, Councilwoman Williams. Here. And Councilwoman Roscoe. Here. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
Tonight's regular council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6, clerk's report. 7, treasurer's report. 8, public comment. 9, unfinished business. 10, new business. 11, warrant. 12, communication. And number 13, adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Number 2, minutes. Agenda item 2A for approval are the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, May 8th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wadsworth?
I will move that we approve the council minutes from the regular meeting, which was held on May the 8th at 7:30.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of our minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday the 8th at 7:30. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
There were no special meetings held on Monday, May 8th, 2023. There are no petitioners on tonight's agenda. Takes us to number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, we had a 6:30 special meeting study session on the water rates. At this time, the chair is going to recognize Councilwoman Abdo.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I would like to ask for a council resolution for a person who has given her whole life to living here in Romulus. She is 95 years old, and Mary Ann Risner.
Support.
Thank you.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth for a resolution. Ms. Abdo?
Yes,
John,
Yes, you'd like to speak on
I'd
that?
like to say a couple words about.
I meant that as a birthday resolution.
Okay, go ahead.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct it as a birthday resolution for Mary Ann. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just want to say a couple words about her. I've known her for probably 45 years, and one thing that I'll always remember is when we had the bingos for the dog pond, and we had 18 of them, and probably the first 13 or 14 of them, she came and volunteered, and she stayed for every hour, every day, and I'll always appreciate what she did for us.
Okay,
Thank you.
You had something, Ms. Wa-
No, I just
You
wanted to
good?
make sure that they knew it was a birthday resolution. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, again, Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved. And that concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion to accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb? I'm sorry, Ms. Webb is absent. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number
you.
5 is the mayor's report, and sitting in for Mayor McCrate this evening, we have our Chief of Staff, Julie Waitoko.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and good evening, City Council. I'll be presenting the mayor's report this evening. However, before we get started with the action items on his report, I'd like to call up Jerry Freyer, our DDA Director. He wanted to share some information with the council.
Good evening, Clerk, City Council, and Chief of Staff. Last week, I just want to say thank you, a huge thank you and shout out to Block's Greenhouses for donating the flowers and the herbs for our senior gardens and our flowers downtown and around the building. So a huge Blocks. I dealt with Carol over there. She was very great. So I just want to say thank you to them. And then also our Garden Club Beautification Committee. I'm going to name off the names, and if I miss somebody, I apologize. I tried to get everybody's names from all the committees, but a big thank you to Christine Knight, Gail Millspaul, Mark Bourne, Lana Bogard, Teresa Guzniski, Kimberly Long, Emery Long, Leah Chalette, Peyton Chalette, Lily Trevarro, Lee Trevarro, Maria Lambert, Rose Swadan, Jennifer Freyer, Tony Heimberger, Beth Mays, Chris Dunn, Patty Braden and staff, Dana Ferguson, Tracy Eddings, Stephen Dudek, Gary Harris, Amanda Bennett, Victoria Trush, Maria Ferris, Tracy Langinger, Paul Banks, Eli Smith, Arnett Chisholm, Edna Talan, Chuck Lindemuth, and Taylor Johnson. So just a big thank you to all those people who helped out with the planting of the herbs and the flowers. There's some pictures there from around the senior center and the gardens that they did. So just want to say thank you, and we appreciate it. You have a good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. And then just a couple other quick items. We don't have a video this evening, so I apologize for that, but a few items just to remind City Council and also our listening audience and our residents here this evening. We encourage you to join us on Wednesday evening at the Mayor's State of the City address. It's going to be at Romulus Senior High School. Registration will open at 4 with light refreshments, and the program will begin promptly at 5. So we did have kind of a deadline just to, try to get a count. But we have a large auditorium there at the high school, so we still have some room left. And so if you haven't yet RSVP'd, please just reach out to our office so we can add you to the list. And again, that's this Wednesday. The program will start promptly at 5 and doors open at 4. Other than that, I wanted to mention, in observance of Memorial Day, city offices will be closed on Monday, May 29th. So just a quick reminder on that. And I wanted to also point out that there is a celebration of life in honor of Dr. John Herman, who was very dedicated to our animal shelter for many, many, many years. And that's going to be held at Blue Sky Ice Cream and Hamburgers on Saturday, June 3rd, starting at 3 o'clock. And so we do have that information on the city website, along with a lot of other upcoming events. But I did want to mention those couple to you, since those are coming up in the next few days. And I'm not going to steal her thunder here, but I do want to point out and thank the members of UAB for taking the charge to host the Hometown Superhero event the other night. And I know Councilwoman Talley will talk about it a little bit more, but we even had Batwoman at Romulus Senior High School on Wednesday or last Thursday evening, so that was kind of cool. But it was a really nice event in honor of Shyla Grimm. And again, I know the Councilwoman will talk about it a little bit further, but just on behalf of the city, just thank you so much for doing that. It was a great event and very well orchestrated. With that, I will then go ahead and get into the mayor's report this evening. Item 5A is a request for introduction of Budget Amendment 22-23, and with council's concurrence, that would be to cover the costs associated with the Campbell annual contract for the City Hall, Municipal Complex, Senior Center, and Animal Shelter.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, Mr. Wadsworth?
I will move for the introduction of Budget Amendment 22, 2022/23-19.
Support, and I have a question.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for introduction of Budget Amendment 22/23-19. Discussion, Ms. Talley.
Roberto, really quick, I know we have a contract with Campbell. Is this something outside of our contract?
Yes, so essentially what has happened is we have a fixed cost for preventative maintenance, but we do not have a fixed cost for time and material repairs, because we just don't know what might happen in the system. So we had quite a few repairs on a number of facilities. Just this building alone, we have 33 heat pumps, and that's 33 compressors and fans and motors and actuators. So it's just, anything could happen at any point in time, and we're getting towards the end of the year, and now we're basically, we need to replenish funds for some of the repairs we made previously in the year.
Is this something we can see come up again, I guess?
For this year, I don't expect it.
Okay.
But for next year, I mean, we could be in the same predicament. It's just how much do you budget for repairs when
Gotcha.
you don't know the volume of repairs you might have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next action item is Budget Amendment 2223-20, and with council's concurrence, this would be to recognize the PCB water impairment settlement revenue and associated overtime expenses.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion to concur with administration and introduce Budget Amendment 22/23-20 to recognize the PCB water impairment settlement revenue and the associated overtime expenses.
Support, and I have a question.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for introduction of Budget Amendment 22/23-20. Discussion, Ms. Talley.
Yes, I'm not sure. Sorry. I'm just wanted to get clear. I'm not, it looks like it's something we're getting this revenue, but then I'm confused about the overtime. Can you just kind of explain what's going on here?
Sure. So there was a class action lawsuit regarding PCBs in the Rouge Valley system, the watershed. We pay fees and dues into that watershed. And with that settlement, they're basically reimbursing all the communities that have paid into the dues.
Okay.
Some sort of settlement amount. We all kind of get an equal share.
Okay.
But what we plan on doing with our share is we want to put it towards really good use, and that is some of our ditching that we have not had time for throughout the season. Okay, so our residential roads that have
Gotcha.
open ditches, we want to open them back up and put the money towards good use.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Ms. Williams?
So you're saying you want to open the ditches back up, so it's just cleaning them out, or?
Yes,
Putting
cleaning them
pipes
out.
in?
Yep, cleaning them.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, through the chair, real quick.
Yes,
while you're
go
here,
ahead.
Roberta, it's so funny we talking about this. So I had a resident call me, asking me about the ditches. So is that something who's responsible for the ditches? Is it the city, or does it make a difference? I mean,
Well, it depends which ditch we're talking about.
Okay.
We've got man-made ditches
Okay.
in the city that are in people's backyards.
Okay.
That are property owners' jurisdiction, and it's not our responsibility.
We're the ones
We
up there
have-
on the road.
Yeah, the ones on the roads, they are city responsibility, but it's not city responsibility to fill those ditches in. If somebody would want, like, a culvert put in,
Okay.
that responsibility is on the property owner.
What about maintenance? What if we got people that, like, we just had a citywide cleanup, and they throwing trash in the ditches and things like that? We get that on Wick Road all the time. So what
Yeah,
about,
well,
like,
we try to clean the best we can with
Okay.
our allotment, but,
Yeah.
we're pulled in so many different ways, we're running all over the place.
No, I
with
just
a
want
lot-
from my knowledge,
Yeah,
you know.
but, we try to clean those ditches out, but, and this is, again, with these funds, we would like to
Right.
try to continue that process.
got it. Thank you.
Ms. Williams?
Yes. And, just that, since you're talking about ditches, the ditch that goes along Ecorse Road right outside of the Preserves subdivision,
Yes.
can you contact Wayne County as soon as possible and let them know that those weeds have overgrown also?
Yes.
I know normally the city gives tickets, or they'll cut it and charge them, and I don't know if you want to draw bad blood, but, that needs to be
If
looked
they-
at.
yeah.
It's right outside of the preserves. It's a ditch, and it belongs to Wayne County. That's their ditch. So please contact them, because I'm getting calls from residents saying that they're having a hard time pulling out, and they have to pull all the way out almost to the street, before they can see the traffic.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next action item this evening, with your concurrence, would be to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the vendor agreement between the City of Romulus, City of Wayne, Charter Township of Van Buren, and Hagera Health Incorporated to facilitate mental health services for community members who have made contact with the police department and are in need of assistance. Contract would be effective from July 1st of 2023 through June of 2024.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached vendor agreement between the City of Romulus, City of Wayne, and Charter Township Van Buren, respectfully, and Hagera Health, Inc., to facilitate mental health services for community members who have made contact with the police department and are in need effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. And then I have a question.
Support, and I have a question, too.
The motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for Hagera Health Agreement. Discussion, first Ms. Talley, then Mr. Wadsworth.
Thank you. Just a process question, Chief. I know this has come up in council several weeks ago. So we're going to have a resource on site. Would they be in the police department? Or would they be housed, this person in the police department be housed there? Or how does this process work?
So we're going to, all three communities are going to create a space for them to
Okay.
do, sort of their office type things, but they'll mostly be out of the office. But we want to create a space where when they come into our community, they have, something.
A spot?
Yes.
So is it one person going through, it's a lot. So one person's going to be able to manage these communities?
Well, so, for example, we gave about 112 referrals to COPE last year.
Okay.
And they tried to send somebody out within 24 hours to offer resources and, find out what the actual problem was, see what resources they could offer,
Okay.
facilitate certain things. And so that person is going to be busy,
Very.
but they were busy before, and we
Okay.
had no person that we could directly call. So we did the referrals, and then they sent somebody out when they had somebody. So this gives us somebody that will actually be accountable to our cities.
Okay.
And I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah.
And that we can contact directly.
Is this a free service to people?
So the way they were doing it before was kind of hit or miss, but it was, the cost of this contract is merely paying that person's salary and benefits.
Okay. So the person who's seeking this service, do they have to pay?
Oh, it depends on what the service is. So they have a
Okay.
whole breadth of services that they
Okay.
offer. A lot of them, they wouldn't have to pay, some they would.
I got you. Thank you.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Chief, the question I have, if they're dispatched to a location and they see an individual that needs help, it's not a criminal matter here, someone needs help, is this immediate help, or do they just refer it to the family members that are there?
So in a perfect world, it'd be immediate. They would co-respond, but that's, obviously one person's not going to be able to do that. So this is a step below that, but even on the co-response, the police have to go there first to make sure the situation's safe before we can have anybody else show up, so.
Okay, so we don't take anybody into custody and take them somewhere for help. It's got to be more of a volunteer on the...
Presently, under the mental health code, it depends on if the person is a danger to themselves or others, like an immediate danger, we will take them into custody and take them to the hospital. In fact, we do that quite often. We generally prefer to, we'll be the taxi for the family members who want, we'll take the person in need of the assistance, and the family members will drive their own car to the hospital and do a petition if they have to be immediately petitioned. But that's something we do very commonly.
Okay, fine.
Ms. Abdo and then Ms.
Good
Williams.
program.
Yeah.
I was wondering who this person is accountable to. who is going to evaluate this person, how much they're getting done? I mean, do they report to you? Or is there one person that's responsible for this
So
person?
they would still be an employee of Hagera Health COPE. However, we, the 3 chiefs from the 3 cities are going to sit on the board with Hagera Health and interview candidates for the position. They already have people that put in for the position, so we'll interview candidates. So it's a 1-year contract. If we don't think we got, value out of it, then we could be done with it. But obviously, we would go through the supervisor at Hagera.
So will you get monthly reports on this, or?
I could. I mean, they've been doing it for the last 2 years with, I asked them to actually give reports on the percentage of people they're contacting after we refer them and what their success rate is. And it lowered our calls to some of the addresses by 20%. So, it appeared to be effective. But yeah, I think it'd be a good idea for us to have reports.
I would think so, monthly reports to see how effective it is. Thank you.
And I would just like to know, as far as the service that you give, is it just mental health, or is also someone dealing with drugs, have issue with drugs? I just want to make that clear. It's just not mental health, right?
Right. And there's often those 2 things go together.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's self-medicating and they end up getting addicted. So, they know all the different resources that they can point the person in the right direction or get them in contact with the right person.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item under the mayor's report, item 5D, is a request to, we need to go back to an item that we had done a bid award for, just to clarify some language in the resolution that was done. This was for the large water parts, ITB 2223-21, and unfortunately, the motion was misstated in what was provided to you. Okay. And so, just so that we move forward correctly, there would be 2 motions that would need to be made. The first would be a request for you to rescind Council Resolution 23-122 adopted on May 1st, 2022. The second request then would be to concur with the administration's same recommendation with the corrected ITB number and also referencing both Core Main and Ferguson Waterworks for the 2-year contract. And again, I apologize for the mishap, but we will make sure our records are correct.
Okay. Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion and to rescind Romulus City Council Resolution 23-122 adopted May 1st, 2022, with a quick question.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to rescind Romulus City Council Resolution 23-122, adopted May 1st, 2022. Discussion, Ms. Talley?
So basically, we're just going from 1 vendor to 2 vendors. We're just splitting it up. That's pretty much all it is.
Well, that was, yes, and that was presented in the packet that was given to you, but it wasn't stated properly in the motion.
Right.
So, yes.
Okay,
That's
okay.
a portion of it. And then that's been done in the past.
Right.
Just to, based on the comparison on the bids,
Right.
so.
Okay, thank you.
Is it, I just have this question. Is it the correct way that the person that made the motion rescind it, call it back?
Ms. Clerk?
No?
No, in the same meeting, but no, you can do it, now anybody can make a motion.
Well, I'm saying it was already voted on, so it's saying rescind it. I was under the impression that any time that you're rescinding a motion that was voted on, the person that made that motion, no?
I think that's only in the same meeting.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear.
Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes?
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. And then we would need that second motion then to formally award that bid.
I'll make that motion,
Ms. Talley?
Chair.
Okay. Ms.
To
Roscoe?
concur with the administration and award bid ITB 22/23-21 to the lowest, most responsive responsible bidder, Core and Main LP, and Ferguson Waterworks for 2-year fixed pricing for water hydrants and gate valves and the amounts indicated on the tabulation sheet.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, to concur with the administration and award bid ITB 22/23-21 to the lowest, most responsible bidder. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you, council. And the last item on the mayor's report this evening is 5E, and that is for the Municipal Library Board reappointments. With your concurrence would be to reappoint Deborah Hoffman with a term to expire on April 11th, 2026, and Candace Lukowitz with a term to expire on April 11th, 2024 to the Romulus Municipal Library Board. And
Mr.
we thank
Chair.
them for their service.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Go ahead, Mr.
I make
Abdo.
that a motion to concur with the administration and approve the reappointment of Deborah Hoffman with a term to expire April 11th, 2026, and Candace Lukowitz with a term to expire April 11th, 26 here to the municipal board? It says 24.
Support. That's correct.
Okay, 2026. Typo there.
Need a second.
Mr. Chair, if I may, that term is the 2024 is correct.
Oh, it is correct.
Yes.
I take that back
Yes,
then.
I apologize.
To expire April 11th
2024.
to the municipal library board. That doesn't make sense. We've already passed that.
Any discussion?
Well, no,
Yes.
24.
Next year. Yeah.
I would just like to know, when did both of the candidates expire? Have it already expired, or it's moving toward the expiration date?
Moving towards that expiration date.
Okay.
We are a couple weeks behind, but.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. That will conclude the mayor's report this evening.
Thank you.
Number 6 is the clerk's report. I have 3 action items. 6A is a study session request. Treasurer Page is requesting a 30-minute study session for Monday, June 5th, 2023 at 6:15 p.m. to discuss the quarterly investment report. The date and time are available for the request. And as a reminder, another study session is scheduled for Monday, June 5th at 6:45 to discuss the nominees for the honorary street sign dedication program. The motion would be in order.
Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth?
I will move that we approve a meeting on June the 5th at 6:15, a study session.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for a study session request for Monday, June the 5th at 6:15 p.m. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. 6B, we're requesting that council approve the 23-24 proposed municipal fee schedule for the city of Romulus to be effective July 1, 2023. The fiscal year 2023-24 fee schedule has been included with your packet, with the agenda.
All right. Need a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Ms. Roscoe?
For approval of the proposed 2023/2024 municipal fee schedule.
Support. And I have a couple of questions.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of proposal 2023-24 municipal fee schedule. Discussion, Ms. Talley.
Yeah, just a couple of things. On the clerks, under the clerk, on page 4-3, the kennel license, looks like we're removing, I just want to say maybe we're not just doing it anymore. Under the kennel license, monthly is scratched out, replacement peddler, solicitor's license, surety bond, it's all scratched out. Is that just something we're just doing away with?
That's a correction there. That is a correction, as we, with the, the ordinance changes and stuff, so it was,
Okay.
it was a typo that was in there.
Okay.
So that's correcting that.
That's
On that.
correct.
That's why that's
Okay.
crossed out, because it was included in the last budget, and then when the deputy clerk went to clear everything up. So
Okay.
it's just, instead of just completely deleting it, it just aligned across to show that it's
That
not
is-
part of
okay.
it. Yes, correct.
Okay, and then we, some of the increases I see are kind of, make sense, like in our building department, but we have a specialty care transport, it looks like a new fee, we have several new fees, that looks like fire. Deputy Chief, can you speak to this specialty care transport? It looks like a new fee. Do you know?
Councilwoman Talley, which page is that?
It's under the fire. Fire fee. Page 7-99.
Chief, we'll get you a copy of that page for you.
And if I may, through the chair, just, I know council's fully aware of this, but, there was quite a bit of time put into going through these fees as part of the budget. Just for the listening audience, we do put a lot of time in checking and such before these fees get forwarded on to the clerk, but
Okay.
Good evening, members of council, chief of staff. As far as the specialty care transport, I believe this is one of our service fees for EMS transport for the community.
Okay, isn't it, so it's not is it ALS and BLS? Is that what, it's just called specialty fee? I'm just trying to be clear.
I wasn't really prepared to speak on this, but I assume that it's going to be a special transport service if we have to schedule it. I will have to get verification on that.
That's okay, and I'm thinking you're saying it will include probably ALS and BLS
Depending on the
services
services,
underneath
yes.
there? And the only reason why I asked, because we didn't have it in the previous year, it looks like a new fee, and I thought we had been doing ALS and BLS transport, so that's why I'm asking, so.
I will pass the information on to the
Okay.
mayor's staff and get it to you.
No,
for
thank you for
clarification.
that.
John?
Mr. Wadsworth?
I have a question, too, to the clerk's office. Under the animal shelter, to euthanize a animal, we were charging $3 a pound. Now we're going to charge $4 a pound. When people have to make that decision, and we have a lot of, people that aren't too well off in this town, and they come in there with a 50-pound dog. That's $200. I think that's outrageous. Outrageous.
So, Councilman Wadsworth, so each department submits their fees, their proposed fees, like during the budget process. So with this, I couldn't speak on why this fee was raised. It would have to come from someone from ordinance on that. We can find out why that it was increased.
I'm just going to suggest that they would revisit this, because if you've got a 50-pound dog, you're talking $200 to put your dog down. And for some people, this is a very sad part
Sure.
of their life. And on top of losing, the animal, now they got to pay, and I'm using 50 pounds.
Sure.
$200. I think that should be looked at.
Well, I will pass that on to the ordinance department. Like I said, a lot of these fees, as our chief of staff has stated, each department will submit, their proposed
Right.
fees. And so we don't, we just
Well,
record them in
okay,
here,
I've
so.
expressed how
can-
I feel about it.
Yeah, no, right, we don't
And I'm sure you'll
challenge them.
pass it on. I think it's, even
No, we'll
$1 a
pass it
pound,
on.
for God's sakes.
Right, we'll pass that on
Okay,
to the
all right,
ordinance
fine.
department.
Thank you.
And just so you know, so once, we can come back later for an amendment to this particular line item, once the ordinance department has a chance to look at it, because they
All right,
must have
all
a
right,
rationale
fine.
for the increase. I'm just not certain
All
on
right,
that.
thank you.
Okay.
Also, on page 67, if you could have, that's the building department. Look at that one, it's for the building registration fee. It went up, it increased $25. If you can find out what was the purpose of that increase.
Okay. We will get in touch with those, with the directors of those departments, and then have them, report back with an explanation, and it'll have to go through the chief, work through the chief of staff, and then we can get a report, for you as to why those increases. And again, a lot of the increases and the adjustments to the fee schedule, it's discussed during the whole budget process. So they usually will justify, and that's reported, why this fee had to change and why this, and it could be the economy. We're not sure why the cost of labor and different things that come up. As we know, everything's going, everything
Right.
is going
And
up
through the chair,
too, and
and
services, yeah.
And I get that, and because for me, it's just clarification. I
No,
just
I
want
understand.
education, because we didn't get a chance to talk on this when we were going through the budget process.
Sure.
So, because I had questions then, but that's fine.
Okay.
But my question also too, the illegal hydrant use, that's a new fee as well. So I just see several new fees. I just for my clarity in education, who was out there illegally using hydrants?
Good evening, council. So we get a lot of contractors, sometimes really other government agencies tapping into our water supply.
That's, okay.
So we want to, it's the carrot or the stick, how do you discourage that? So the water loss, it repercussions back to our residents,
Right.
in the bills they pay.
No, and I think it should be stated so that when we have these discussions and when we have to make hard decisions in the city, that the people know what's going on and why, we have these different fees here. It's to recoup costs. So
Yeah.
we got people out here illegally using our water. So, we got this fee here. So, no, just for my education, I just want to kind of know so I can speak to this stuff when I'm talking to folks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No?
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council, and again, we'll get a explanation to you with regards to your
Okay.
concerns.
Thank
over the
you.
fee schedule. All right, thank you. The last action item I have under my report, this is boards and commissions appointments and reappointments to the Construction Board of Appeals and the Board of Zoning Appeals. The Executive Advisory Committee held a meeting to discuss the recommendations for appointments to the Construction Board of Appeals and the reappointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals. It is requested that council take two actions. The first action is to concur with the recommendation of the Executive Advisory Committee and appoint Charles Lindenmuth to the Construction Board of Appeals with the term to expire on May 30th, 2028. If I could have a motion, please.
I'll make that motion to appoint Chuck Lindenmuth to the Construction Board of Appeals.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to appoint Charles Lindemuth to the Construction Board of Appeals with a term to expire on May 30th, 2028. And thanks for being in the audience, Mr. Rutherford. Thank you for being present. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you, Council. I'm asking for a second motion to concur with the recommendation of the Executive Advisory Committee and reappoint Brian Lloyd to the Board of Zoning Appeals with the term to expire on June 30th, 2025, and reappoint Julie Allison as an alternate to the Board of Zoning Appeals with the term to also expire June 30th, 2025.
Through the chair,
Ms. Tally?
I'd like to concur with the recommendation of the Executive Advisory Committee and reappoint Brian Lloyd to the Board of Zoning Appeals with a term to expire on June 30th, 2025, and reappoint Julie Allison as an alternate to the Board of Zoning Appeals with a term to also expire on June 30th, 2025.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Ms. Williams, to concur with the recommendation of the Executive Advisory Committee and reappoint Brian Lloyd to the Board of Zoning Appeals with a term to expire on June 30th, 2025, and reappoint Julie Allison as the alternative to the Board of Zoning Appeals with a term to also expire on June 30th, 2025. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Before I close out my report, I have a couple of announcements. First, our citywide yard sale. We want to thank everyone who participated. We had one rainy day, that was Friday, and Council, you had adopted a resolution for rain dates, an alternate date for that. So we've received several calls, and we had great weather except for Friday. It rained. So the alternate rain date that you had approved was for for Friday, June the 2nd. So there will be a makeup day, a rain date to make up for Friday, this past Friday. Those who had already secured a permit to have your citywide garage sale, you do not have to come in and request another permit. So we're going to have that makeup day for Friday, June 2nd only. Okay, we're just making up Friday's date for that rain date. The next announcement is that the City of Romulus is having its first city-sponsored Juneteenth celebration. We're very excited about it. We have a great committee that's working on it. Got a little late start, but this is our first time. And so it's going to be held on Saturday, June the 17th, from 12 noon to 4 o'clock p.m. At the Historical Park. We have entertainment, vendors, bouncy house for the kids, food trucks, and so we're very, very excited about this celebration in our community. We want everyone to please come and join us. We want family, friends. It's a day to remember the past and celebrate our future. And so also, we're forming a community choir to perform at our celebration. I'm kind of dusting off the fingers, and we're going to get out there and working with the Ministerial Alliance. And so we're inviting everyone. Everyone, if you like to sing, you want to come out and join us, please do. We have 2 rehearsal dates, Friday, June the 2nd, and Friday, June the 9th. The rehearsals will be held at the Pentecostal Baptist Church, which is located at 35625 Vinewood. That's Reverend Willis's church. And the rehearsals will be from 6 to 8. We're really, really excited about this year. And so we just hope to grow moving forward. But again, we're welcoming everyone to come out and celebrate on Saturday, June the 17th. And with that, that will conclude the clerk's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
All right, so there is no treasurer report this evening. That takes us to number 8, public comment, and this is the portion of the agenda for those who are in the audience and who would like to address our city council. The rules can be found on the back of your meeting agenda. To address city council, raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and please state your name. Note that members of the public who submitted a public comment card will be called upon first. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair, we do have one resident who has submitted a card requesting to speak under public comment, and that is Mr. Charles Miller.
Okay, Mr. Miller?
Good evening, Charles Miller. Hope everyone's doing fine. Daylight comes, midnight comes. The seasons come and the seasons go, they never change. And something never changes at this city council. And that's the violation of the charter. This is the third time I've talked about it. It's falling on deaf ears. I understand completely. Ms. Waitoka is sitting in the mayor's position. It's not her fault. Ms. Waitoka works at the pleasure of the mayor. It's not the mayor's fault. The mayor has duties, circumstances that prevents him from doing his duty tonight. I personally don't like pointing the finger at the individual whose responsibility it is, although eventually I will. The way this works, according to the charter, is that when the mayor is not here, the mayor pro tem takes his place, as do the charter. The next in line takes the mayor pro tem's place. That would be Councilwoman Williams. Now, the way this works is that a violation of the charter, according to the charter itself, is only a fine of $500. Now, if I, a citizen, who have been standing here watching as Chairman Barton does not take his proper position, and I want to file a complaint, I have to hire an attorney. Most attorneys cost in excess of over $300 an hour, where the fine for violating the charter is only $500, or 90 days in jail at the discretion of the court. Well, so here, I don't understand why this city council allows the eroding of your power and position as elected officials. Usually, Mayor Pro Tem has no obligation whatsoever to say, I don't want to do it. It says shall take the place. Now, if there has been a change in the charter, I'm unaware of it. But I will say this. When you sit there and allow this to continue, you're eroding your power and your position. If you're okay with that, I guess I'll have to be okay with it also. But I think it's just improper. Thank you.
Thank you.
John?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth?
Under our charter, 5.3E, it says that the mayor may attend the council meetings. It doesn't say he must attend them.
I didn't say mayor. I said Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the audience? If there's no other comments from the audience, Madam Clerk, we'll close that part out.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Takes us to number 9, unfinished business.
Through the chair, really quick question.
Yes,
Julie, did we, the resident that came in at the last meeting about Beverly Road, did we reach out to her?
Yes, I did get a report. I apologize, I should have added that into your updates.
Okay.
Director Scapitici did talk with her.
Okay.
And I think also looked into this, there was some work being done clearing out there, and I think he had reviewed that as well. So,
Okay.
yes, I did get back.
Thank you.
Yes, I apologize.
Is there any more unfinished business? New business?
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I understand what the young man said pertaining to the water increase, and if we take no action, I just think we need to look a little bit deeper into it. I understand that they came and did their presentation and left council with what we had to do it, but I'm sure it's other avenues we should be able to take other than, we did tax increase every year. It appears that we're increasing the water, and I'm speaking for myself too, because I'm being affected. So I would like to make a motion and hope that I could get support that we, don't allow it to go through until we can get some more information or get them looking into other ways that we can try to make that money up for the water department.
Mr. Chairman? if I could.
Yes, go ahead.
So the clock hasn't started to run on you on this because, as he indicated, he's going to come back with a final report that he's going to present, which will be given to you. And then the ordinance says you've got 10 days if you want to prevent it from going into effect. And so until you get that final report, the clock's not running on whether you want to object to it or not object to it.
Well, as long as you, because that's not what he was saying. He was acting as if no action tonight because it was presented to us. So
No,
I'm going to hold you to it.
No, you don't have to take action tonight.
I'm going to hold you to it. Okay?
No, you're going to get a copy of the final report that he creates.
Right. I just think, I understand everything that they said here, but at the same time, we have to also understand the situations that we are put in by being up here. We can't be afraid to say no, as well as we can't be afraid to say yes. But look deep into it, and how would you like if someone is constantly hitting you in the pockets with nothing in return? Because, as I said, when they were sitting here, I don't even drink the water. I've been in Romulus since 1969, and I've never drunk the water. There's too many things flying around or rolling around in it. And taking a bath, you come out like flowers all dusted. So something's in the water. So to pay the kind of money they want us to pay, constantly increasing, I don't agree with that. It got to be some other kind of way. And with the positions that they have and the salaries that they make,
Right.
they should be able to find some other solution other than just hitting the taxpayers. So I hold you to that. If you say it's not final, we still have an opportunity to say no, I'll hold you to it.
Mr. Chair, if I could also,
Yes.
that was kind of the intention was, we had a meeting with you and there was some conversation, and of course, the public hearing tonight. The plan all along was to give you time to kind of absorb this and ask questions. You gave a list of questions tonight that I know they'll be taking back to get more detail. The intention was always to bring this to you in the beginning of June, because I think something has to be done one way or the other before the end of June. But we wanted to make sure that we give council plenty of time to kind of, look through this. So we'll be getting back with you with the answer with the questions that you had earlier tonight as well, so, as Mr. Hitchcock said.
If there's no more new business, takes us to number 11, warrant, approval of warrant 23-10.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a
Yes.
motion to approve warrant 23-10 in the following amounts. General Fund, $120,206.61. Major Street Fund, $3,496.30. Local Street Fund, $1,290.78. Public Safety Fund, $62,015.47. Cable TV, $1,511.42. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $176.39. Street Lighting Fund, $12,137.32. Oakwood SAD, $129.98. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $2.90. Michigan Indigent Defense Fund, $900. 9/11 Service Fund, $837.22. NARC Forfeiture State, $36.01. Library Fund, $5,109.67. DDA, $20,891.26. Tifa District 2, $76,697.59. Water and Sewer Fund, $493,663.04. Motor vehicle, $17,572.93. Technology services, $1,675.58. Retiree insurance benefits, $63,089.82. Property and liability insurance fund, $8,297. Revolving fund, $4,997.50. Delinquent personal property fund, $96,435.54. Payroll fund, $130,004.29. Totaling of all funds, $1,121,174.62.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, to pay warrant number 23-10 for $1,121,174.62. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, takes us to number 12, communication.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ms. Talley?
Yeah, a couple of quick announcements before I get to Hometown Heroes. I want to thank our Wayne County Commissioner Al Hayes. He came to the last council meeting and presented me with a certificate on behalf of the Wayne County Commission Chair Alicia Bell and the county commissioners for work I did on the Women's Commission, and I want to thank him for taking his time to come out and do that. Over the weekend, I went to an event was the Community Leaders Workshop hosted by Wayne County Treasurer Office, Eric Sabri. At this event, it was a great event, and it was attended by, I'm talking about Romulus showing, City Treasurer Stacy Page, Deputy Treasurer Tracy Leininger, I have to say her name wrong, Jasmine Dancing, Reverend Willis, and Wendy Harmon, and myself. At this event, it was a great event. I want to acknowledge our city treasurer, Stacy Page, was presented with a presentation with a certificate. And the certificate was presented to Stacy Page for her outstanding work, not only in serving the Wayne County Treasurer's Office, but also as an exceptional community partner dedicated to helping residents remain in their homes. So I wanted to shout out Stacy Page, our city treasurer, for the work she's been doing and working with the Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabri. So I just wanted her to be acknowledged for her work and her efforts and what she does in our city. Thank you, Stacy Page. Next, and Dennis Davis, I want to thank Dennis Davidson for the invite and inviting us out for a great event. Next, I want to talk about Hometown Heroes. I want to thank Julie for her segue. Thank you very much. And with that, I want to just shout out to the mayor's office, particularly Julie White-Toko. I can't even speak volumes of the support we received in pulling off this event. It was a great event, duly in part by a great partnership with the city of Romulus. Julie was very instrumental in pulling this event off and helping us pull it off. Maria Lambert, I want to shout out too. She did an amazing job with the program. Vanessa Tolliver, her input, Mike Leskaska, and Roger Cadu. Just a great city support to make this Hometown Heroes, Superheroes event amazing, and it was truly amazing. Our superhero, she was a Hometown Hero outstanding superhero educator, was Shyla Brim. She's a member of First Baptist Church here in Romulus, who just had their 96th anniversary a couple of weeks ago, and First Baptist came out in full force to support her on this night. So I want to thank and so with the church being there, it was so much honor given to our Lord, our God. It was just an amazing time. So thank you for First Baptist coming out. Pastor Carl III came and gave words to Shyla at this event. In other words, just support for the whole event. Shyla's family, Deacon Cofield and Norma Cofield was in the house, of course, and her family, her brother, and just her family. Barth Elementary came out strong for this event. Principal Thompson brought some of his kids to do the Pledge of Allegiance, so I want to thank him in bringing the kids out. They did a phenomenally amazing job. Thank you for them. And Principal Thompson had great words to say on behalf of Shyla as well. Mr. Barton, thank you for the amazing welcome. You did double duty that night. He did the welcome and he did introductions for us to stand in for somebody who couldn't make it. So thank you, Mr. Barton. You did a great job. We had our Deputy Chief Shelby of Police come out, and we had Captain Scott Laddick of the Fire come out. Thank you guys for coming out for your time. Our Senator Darren Camilleri came out and did a tribute and presented our winner, Shyla Brim, with a tribute, along with Al Haydes, our Wayne County Commissioner. Both of these gentlemen came out of their time and gave tributes to Shyla Brim for her accomplishments. And really the topping on the cake of that night was our former hometown hero, superhero, educator from last year, Rebecca Montroy, who is the daughter of Cara Bales, did a passing of the baton of taking her cape, because it's superheroes, the theme was superheroes, and she took the cape off and placed it on Shyla's for her tenure. So it was just a great event. I want to thank Rebecca and her coming out and enjoying us on this night. It was a great night. Shyla was very surprised. She was just overwhelmed with the nominations and all the well wishes she got. It was people that submitted nominations on her behalf, and it just was an amazing night. And last but not least, I want to shout out that Julie kind of mentioned was UAB, Unity Ambassador Building Bridges, who, like I said, were also instrumental in pulling off this event. Eva Webb, who's a part of Unity Ambassador Building Bridges, Pastor Margaret Zarkeen, Danielle Funderburg, Edna Talon Jemison, and yours truly. I want to thank everybody who helped us with this event. Oh, I'm sorry, and I would be remiss, North Point, one of our developers here in the city of Romulus came out and supported us and helped us with volunteer efforts. Thank you to North Point for your help and your contributions to our evening and your support, and just everybody pulling together one Romulus strong for a great Hometown Heroes event, superhero event. And like Julie said, Batwoman was in the house as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
As always, I want to remind the residents that Forgotten Harvest will be at the high school. I can't say this enough. The truck doesn't get there until 9:30. The residents, you don't have to show up until at least 9:30. 7:30 is just too early. School is finna be out, so that kind of helps not be in the way of the buses, but being there at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning is way too early. You're not going to miss out. We've never ran out of food, but please, it's all for our residents and surrounding communities. We normally, during school hours, we normally shut it down at 12 o'clock because we have to get out the parking lot before the buses come. But it's not too often that we'll turn down a Romulus resident. If they get in line, I'll make exceptions, let them get in line, and we'll take care of them. Some of the volunteers be looking at me sideways, but I'm not turning down Romulus residents. I also want to share this. I know the city, for the first time, will be doing the celebration of the Juneteenth, but for the last 4 years, down in the North End, we have celebrated Juneteenth. And it was a couple of young guys that came to me and said, hey, we want to bring acknowledgement to Juneteenth. So I said, okay. So every year for the last 4 years, that's what we did. And so they decided, even though the city is having one on the same day, they decided on June the 17th, starting at 12 o'clock, that we will also celebrate and we will have fun for the family, free food, no, don't have to go in your pocket. What I would like to say is that the 12 years I went to school, I heard nothing about it. And the younger generation is taking a run with it. And for decades, we've been taught or it was always said that July the 4th was our Independent Day, our Freedom Day, only to now hear more about Juneteenth is. And so it's really big for the younger generation. It is really big for them because they're excited that the news that we didn't even know as we were raising them is now coming out. The President of the United States made it a national holiday. I'm sure everybody is still going to try to get, especially now that it's a national holiday, you want both of those days off, so you're going to celebrate both of them. But for our young people of color, it means so much to have the true history of what Independence Day is. And so once you leave the city's event, come on down to the North End, 35351 Beverly Road. It's the Thomas J. Coleman Center. We will start at 12 and we will go to 8. I'm looking at bringing in job folks that can offer jobs. I mean, we're trying to do different things outside of what we've been doing, so you'll hear more of it moving forward. They decided to do it the same day, so I gotta go with them. I can't go against them. So everyone's welcome. Come and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Any more communication? Takes us to number 13, adjournment. Oh, go ahead. Well, it's up to the chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
I'm sorry, to the chair. I forgot earlier, but just a reminder that June 9th is our first Sounds of Downtown in Romulus at the Historical Park. So I apologize, first call crew. So sorry, thank you, but love to see everybody out there on June 9th at the Historical Park. Sorry and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Okay, adjournment. A motion be in order to adjourn this meeting.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth
Support.
and supported by Ms. Abdo for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yeah.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned.